Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between rolling hills and lush green forests, there lived a young girl named Lily. The town was the kind of place where everyone knew one another, where mornings smelled of fresh bread from the corner bakery, and evenings echoed with the distant sound of wind brushing through tall trees. Narrow cobblestone streets curved gently around old houses with flower-filled windowsills, and a quiet river flowed just beyond the town's edge, carrying stories from the mountains far away. Lily lived in a cozy little house at the edge of town, where the forest began to thicken and the air always seemed a little fresher. Her bedroom window faced the hills, and every morning she liked to wake up early just to watch the sunlight crawl over the treetops. She loved the outdoors more than anything. Running barefoot through summer grass, climbing trees until her hands were dusty with bark, and listening to birds sing as if they were sharing secrets meant only for her. But on this particular morning, Lily woke to a very different sight. The sky was wrapped in thick gray clouds, heavy and unmoving. Rain tapped softly at her window, then harder, then steadier, like thousands of tiny fingers knocking all at once. The hills were hidden behind a veil of mist, and the forest looked darker, quieter, as if it were holding its breath. Lily sat up in bed and sighed. She had planned to spend the day exploring the meadow beyond the forest, maybe collecting wildflowers or following the stream to see where it bent and disappeared. Rainy days always felt like stolen opportunities to her, moments when the world asked her to stay indoors when all she wanted was to be outside. "What a dreary day," she muttered, pressing her forehead gently against the cool glass of the window. The rain streaked downward like tears, and for a moment, Lily felt her excitement sink. Then, as if carried on the rhythm of the rain itself, a familiar voice echoed in her mind. "Every rainy day is an adventure waiting to happen." Lily smiled. Those words belonged to her grandmother. Her grandmother had lived with Lily when she was younger, filling the house with warmth, laughter, and stories that seemed to stretch far beyond the walls. She believed that magic hid in ordinary moments, especially the ones people tended to overlook: rainy afternoons, quiet mornings, and long walks with nowhere in particular to go. "Rain doesn't ruin adventures," her grandmother used to say. "It simply changes them." Remembering this, Lily's disappointment slowly melted away. She climbed out of bed with renewed determination and pulled on her warm sweater. If the day wanted to be rainy, she would meet it on its own terms. She slipped her feet into her bright yellow rain boots, the ones splashed with tiny painted flowers, and grabbed her colorful umbrella from beside the door. The umbrella bloomed open in a swirl of reds, blues, and greens, like a rainbow refusing to be hidden by the clouds. With one last glance back at her room, Lily stepped outside. The rain welcomed her immediately. It drummed gently against her umbrella, creating a soft, steady rhythm that felt almost like music. The air smelled clean and alive, filled with the scent of wet earth and fresh leaves. Each breath felt cooler and deeper, as though the rain had washed the world clean overnight. Lily began walking toward the forest, her boots splashing lightly in shallow puddles. Water pooled along the dirt path, reflecting the gray sky above. She watched her reflection ripple and distort with every step, turning her face into a dancing blur. As she reached the forest's edge, the rain softened. The tall trees caught much of it in their wide leaves, allowing only scattered drops to fall through. The ground beneath her feet was damp but springy, covered in moss and fallen leaves that glistened like polished stones. Lily loved the forest most when it rained. Everything felt quieter, more secretive. Birds hid among the branches, insects retreated beneath leaves, and the forest itself seemed to whisper rather than speak. She walked slowly, listening to the gentle drip of water falling from leaf to leaf, the distant rush of the stream growing louder with every step. Suddenly, something moved near her feet. Lily stopped and crouched down, careful not to make a sound. Nestled among the ferns was a tiny frog, its skin shiny and speckled with green and brown. It watched her with wide, curious eyes, unmoving, as if deciding whether she was friend or foe. Lily smiled and whispered, "Hello there." The frog twitched, then hopped away in a quick burst of motion, disappearing into the undergrowth. Lily giggled softly, her laughter blending with the sounds of rain and rustling leaves. She continued deeper into the forest, following the sound of flowing water until she reached the stream. Normally calm and narrow, it had grown wide and lively from the rain, its surface rippling with energy. The water rushed over smooth stones, sparkling even under the dull sky. A line of stepping stones crossed the stream, slick with moisture but sturdy. Lily hesitated for only a moment before stepping forward. Carefully, she placed one boot on the first stone, then the next. Cool water splashed against her ankles, sending a shiver up her legs. She laughed, steadying herself with her umbrella, feeling brave and alive. When she reached the other side, she discovered something she had never seen before. A hidden glade opened up before her, tucked away as if the forest had been keeping it secret. Despite the rain, wildflowers bloomed everywhere, purple, yellow, and white petals lifting their faces toward the sky. Raindrops clung to them like tiny jewels, catching what little light there was and scattering it across the clearing. Lily stood in awe. She had walked this forest many times, yet she had never found this place. It felt like a reward, a gift for choosing adventure instead of disappointment. As she stepped into the glade, a soft rustling came from nearby bushes. Lily froze. Slowly, she parted the leaves and peeked through. A family of deer grazed quietly just beyond the clearing. Their coats were damp and darkened by the rain, and their movements were gentle and unhurried. One of them lifted its head and met Lily's gaze. For a moment, they simply looked at each other, two beings sharing the same quiet wonder. Then, as gracefully as they had appeared, the deer bounded away, vanishing into the forest. Lily exhaled, her heart pounding with excitement. She felt as though she had stepped into a storybook, one where the world revealed its secrets only to those patient enough to notice them. Feeling energized, Lily made her way back toward town. The rain grew heavier as she left the forest, but she didn't mind. She walked through the streets, passing cozy cafes glowing with warm light and colorful storefronts whose windows reflected the rain like mirrors. The cobblestones shimmered beneath her feet, turning every street into a silver pathway. When she reached the town square, laughter filled the air. A group of children danced and splashed in puddles, their boots sending water flying in every direction. Without hesitation, Lily joined them. She jumped, spun, and laughed, forgetting entirely about wet clothes and muddy boots. For a while, the rain wasn't something to escape, it was something to celebrate. Eventually, tired but happy, Lily slipped away and ducked into a nearby bookstore. Inside, the scent of old paper and ink wrapped around her like a blanket. Rain tapped gently against the windows as she curled up with a book, losing herself in stories of faraway lands and daring adventures. Time passed unnoticed. When she finally stepped outside again, the rain had softened to a mist. The clouds began to part, and sunlight spilled through, painting the town in gold. As Lily walked home, she realized something important. The day she had feared would be dull had become one of her most memorable adventures. She smiled, knowing that even on the rainiest of days, there was always sunshine waiting, sometimes not in the sky, but in the way you choose to see the world. And with that thought, Lily skipped home, already looking forward to the next rainy day. Don't forget to subscribe our channel.